So this is the box it comes in. We can see a picture here of what it looks like. Let's go ahead and open it up. So it's pretty simplistically packed. We got the manual that goes through the assembly process and how to use the scope itself. And here are the technical parameters. So here we have an HDMI cable. Looks like micro to normal. We get a little calibration card for the scope, a CD, and I guess if you wanted to connect your computer to the scope, you can use this disc for the software. We got a 32 gig micro SD card. You guys can see we got a pretty large screen, 7 inches. Buttons here in the front. It is all plastic construction. There's a little handle here in the back, which is kind of cool. It also looks like have a battery here. That's interesting. So this appears to work without constant power because we do have a charging port there. There's our output to the HDMI if you want to connect this to like a monitor or television. And we got the light adjustment there. On the other side, this is where we're going to plug in our micro SD card. Below that, we have the scope itself. We can see it's got LED lights there. And this is also the focus adjustment. All right, so let's see what else we got. The stand or the mechanism that makes it go up and down, and it is completely metal. Here we have the base, which also has these 2 flexible LED lights that you can direct down into what you're looking at. And the base is not too heavy. This is metal here, and there's like a little plastic cover. The feet are foam. They're pretty thick. We do have a USB port there that I guess is required for the lighting. Appears like this has separate power than the scope. So we got a couple more things in here. The cables required for charging, which we get the USB to micro, and then also a cable for the base, which is a USB-C to USB. And we also get a remote where you can control it from a distance. All right, so let's see if we can't figure out how to put this thing together. Should be quite simple. So on the bottom of this mechanism here, we have some threads. They're very fine, and that's going to actually thread into the base here. But be careful because they're quite fine, and you want to start it just right, because if you don't, you could cross thread them and you won't be able to really get in there. So yeah, just kind of make sure it wants to go on its own before you force it. Once it starts going, you can go down as much as it goes, and then this locking nut here will twist the opposite direction while holding this piece straight to lock in the position. Yeah, not too complicated, but just maybe it could be a little hard to start it. We also have this adjustment here, adjust the tilt up and down. So, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty explanatory here. As we run this down, this main piece with the screen and the scope will just sit right in here, and then we can lock it in. So I'm definitely going to have to tighten this bolt up, because if I don't, it just drops down. So I'm going to go get a wrench for that. All right, so I got the correct wrench. So let's go ahead and see if we can tighten this bolt up where it's going to hold. There we go. So yeah, we just need to tighten it up a bit. Not too much so we can still move it like this if we need to. But I think I'm going to snug mine up a little more. And there we go. That should be pretty good. So it does stay now, no problem. So this little knob here locks the up and down motion. So when you get it to where you want it, you can lock it with this. And as simple as that, guys, pretty much our device is ready to go. And by the way, our screen does tilt on its own also, straight up like that, or pretty much 90 degrees. Yeah, look at that, laying down. So you can see it from down completely or any position you want. So for the video, I guess we'll leave it upright for now so we can see it here in the front. Let's go ahead and plug in our micro SD card on this side. And it does click in there. So theoretically, if we have power, this should power on the screen. So let's click that. All right, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and remove the protector. And at the moment, you guys can probably see there's nothing there. And right when I plug it, we can see we got lights. And they're actually very bright, which is pretty cool. And we can adjust the brightness there in the back with more and less. So I think we're going to need something white so we can see. So I'm just going to use this CD cover thing. And then I'm going to put the micrometer calibration ruler in there. If we can focus on that. I'm going to try to go up and down here. Maybe I should spin the focus. There we go. All right, look at that. And then as we lower it, you guys can see we're getting close. But at the same time, we're out of focus now, so we have to readjust the focus. So yeah, depending on how close you want to look at something, you will have to adjust the focus accordingly. But wow, so far, pretty impressive, when you guys can see. So let's see how close we can get. I'm going to go all the way down. No, we do need to go up just a little bit. Okay, there we go. So we can get pretty close, and you guys can see we are practically right on it. So 3-4 millimeters above the thing we're looking at. So yeah, that is super close. Let me see if there's enough light here. Yeah, adjusting your lighting is also quite important of what you see. That is insanely close, guys. Yeah, pretty cool.